There is something inside you that wants you small. It does not shout. It does not attack openly. It whispers late at night. Before you take risks, right when opportunity appears, it tells you to hesitate, to doubt, to retreat, and you listen because it sounds like your own voice. But what if I told you that voice is not your ally? It is a silent usurper. It slowly steals authority from your mind. It replaces courage with caution, vision with fear, action with overthinking, and the most dangerous part, you believe it is protecting you. Centuries ago, in the shadows of power, Niccolò Machiavelli studied how rulers lost their kingdoms. He discovered something chilling. Empires rarely collapse from external invasion first. They decay from internal weakness, doubt, indecision, fear disguised as wisdom. Your mind works the same way. Negative thinking is not just pessimism. It is internal sabotage wearing the mask of logic. It convinces you that playing small is intelligence, that silence is strategy, that hesitation is maturity. But look closely. Every time you obey that voice, you shrink. Every time you shrink, your world becomes smaller, and slowly, without realizing it, you become a prisoner inside your own head. This is not about thinking positive. This is about power, because whoever controls your thoughts controls your life. Right now, negative thinking controls most people. It dictates their confidence, their relationships, their ambitions, their destiny, and they never even realize they surrendered. Tonight, we begin something different. We dismantle the illusion. We expose the mechanism. We reclaim authority. There are 9 powerful truths that can break the chains of negative thinking. But understand this, these truths are not comfortable. They will force you to confront the fact that much of your suffering was not fate. It was conditioning, repetition, unchallenged internal narratives. Once you see how your mind manipulates you, you cannot unsee it. And once you reclaim mental authority, you cannot be ruled the same way again. Let us begin. Truth 1. Your mind is not designed to make you happy. It is designed to keep you alive. The first illusion you must destroy is this: my thoughts reflect reality. They do not. Your brain is not a truth-seeking machine. It is a survival machine. Thousands of years ago, your ancestors survived by assuming the worst. A sound in the bushes? Better assume it is a predator. A stranger approaching? Better assume danger. The ones who thought positively without caution did not survive long enough to pass their genes. So your brain evolved with a bias, a deep automatic bias toward negativity. It scans for threats. It magnifies risks. It remembers pain more vividly than pleasure. That is why one insult can overshadow 10 compliments. That is why one failure feels heavier than 5 successes. Your mind exaggerates danger, because in ancient times, exaggeration meant survival. But here is the dark twist. You no longer live in the jungle, yet your brain still behaves as if you do. When you think, what if I embarrass myself? What if I fail? What if they reject me? Your mind is not trying to sabotage you. It is trying to protect you. But protection without awareness becomes imprisonment. Imagine a king who builds walls so high that no enemy can enter. But eventually, no opportunity can enter either. That king is safe. But he is powerless. Negative thinking is psychological overprotection. The mind builds mental walls to prevent emotional pain. But those same walls prevent growth, love, risk, and expansion. The moment you understand this truth, something shifts. You stop arguing with your thoughts. Instead, you observe them. You realize, this is my survival system speaking, not reality. And when you stop treating every thought as truth, you reclaim power. Machiavelli wrote about rulers who controlled perception rather than being controlled by it. You must do the same with your mind. Do not fight every negative thought. Study it. Dissect it. Understand its origin. Most negative thoughts are exaggerated attempts at protection. And once you see that, their power weakens. Truth 2. The mind repeats what it is rewarded for. Negative thinking is not just instinct. It is habit. And habits are formed through reinforcement. Every time you overthink and avoid action, something subtle happens. You feel temporary relief. You do not speak up. Anxiety drops. You do not take the risk. Fear disappears. You stay silent. Judgment is avoided. That relief feels good, but that relief is the trap. Your brain registers. Avoidance equals safety, and it rewards you with calm. So what happens next time the negative thought appears again? You avoid again. You feel relief again. A cycle is formed. Over time, your mind learns. Negativity keeps me safe. This is why overthinkers struggle to break free, not because they are weak, but because their mind has been trained to prefer avoidance over action. This is psychological conditioning. If you want to overcome negative thinking, you must break the reward cycle. You must do something radical. You must act despite the fear. The first time you do this, it will feel unnatural. Your mind will scream, "This is dangerous." But when you act and nothing catastrophic happens, something powerful occurs. Your brain updates its prediction. It learns, fear does not equal danger. And slowly the cycle weakens. Machiavelli observed that people become loyal not because of love alone, but because of consistent outcomes. Your mind is the same. It becomes loyal to patterns. If you consistently avoid, it becomes loyal to fear. If you consistently act, it becomes loyal to courage. Courage is not the absence of negative thinking. It is the refusal to obey it. And every time you refuse to obey it, you weaken its authority. Truth 3. Your thoughts are influenced by the environment you consume. Here is something most people ignore. Your mind does not generate thoughts in isolation. It absorbs them. The content you watch, the people you talk to, the conversations you listen to, the music you repeat, the narratives you feed yourself, all of it shapes your internal dialogue. If you constantly consume fear-based news, your mind becomes threat-focused. If you constantly compare yourself on social media, your mind becomes insecurity-focused. If you surround yourself with people who complain, your thoughts become complaint-oriented. Negative thinking is contagious. Just as power attracts power, weakness attracts weakness. Machiavelli understood the importance of environment. He knew that a ruler surrounded by weak advisors becomes weak. You are the ruler of your mental kingdom. Look at your advisors. Are they strategic? Or are they anxious? Are they disciplined? Or are they reactive? Your environment is programming you daily. And if you do not control what enters your mind, you will never control what comes out of it. To overcome negative thinking, you must become ruthless with input. Unfollow what triggers comparison. Reduce exposure to negativity. Seek conversations that expand you. Your thoughts are not entirely yours. They are echoes of what you repeatedly consume. Change the input, and the output begins to change. Truth 4. Negative thinking creates the identity of a victim. This is where things become uncomfortable. Repeated negative thinking does more than create bad moods. It creates identity. If you constantly think, "I always mess things up, nothing works for me, people never respect me," your brain begins to build a story. And humans are story-driven creatures. Once the story forms, "I am unlucky, I am not capable, I am misunderstood," your perception filters reality to confirm it. You ignore evidence of success. You magnify evidence of failure. This is confirmation bias. But deeper than bias is identity attachment. There is a strange comfort in victimhood. When you believe the world is against you, you are no longer responsible. Responsibility is heavy. Victimhood is light. But it is also powerless. Machiavelli warned rulers about appearing weak, because weakness invites domination. When you adopt the identity of a victim internally, your behavior changes, your posture changes, your tone changes, your decisions change, and the world responds accordingly. This is not mystical. It is behavioral feedback. Overcome negative thinking, and you alter your identity. And when your identity shifts, your reality begins to shift with it. This is only the beginning. We have exposed 4 truths, but the deeper ones are coming. The truths about control, about perception, about emotional discipline, about the ruthless art of mental sovereignty. If you thought negative thinking was simply bad thoughts, you are only seeing the surface. In the next layer, we will dive deeper into the psychological mechanics of power within your own mind. Because overcoming negative thinking is not about positivity. It is about authority. And once you reclaim authority over your thoughts, you stop being ruled. You start ruling. We have already exposed the surface of the battlefield. You now understand that your mind is wired for survival, not happiness. That it rewards avoidance. That it absorbs negativity from your environment. That repeated thoughts slowly create identity. But now we go deeper. Now we enter the core of psychological power. Because negative thinking is not destroyed by motivation. It is destroyed by authority. And authority begins within. Truth 5. You cannot control thoughts, but you can control allegiance. Here is the mistake most people make. They try to eliminate negative thoughts. They try to silence them, suppress them, argue with them. That never works. Thoughts appear automatically. You do not consciously choose most of them. A memory triggers one. An insecurity triggers another. A comparison creates 10 more. Trying to stop thoughts is like trying to stop waves in the ocean. Impossible. But here's the shift. You are not responsible for the thought. You are responsible for what you obey. There is a difference between hearing a voice and following it. When your mind says, you will fail, you have two choices. 1. Accept it as prophecy. 2. Observe it as noise. Power begins when you separate identity from thought. Say internally, asterisk. That is a thought, not a command. This subtle shift changes everything. Machiavelli understood something crucial about power. Control does not require eliminating opposition. It requires refusing to let opposition rule. You do not need a silent mind. You need a disciplined allegiance. Negative thoughts lose influence the moment you stop treating them as orders. Truth. 6. Negative thinking thrives in uncertainty. The human mind hates uncertainty. It wants guarantees, security, and predictability. When those are absent, it fills the gap with worst-case scenarios. You send a message, no reply. Your mind says, they are ignoring you. You make a mistake. Your mind says, this will ruin everything. The brain prefers a negative certainty over a neutral unknown because uncertainty feels dangerous. But here's the paradox. Growth only exists in uncertainty. New opportunities, relationships, and ambitions are all uncertain. If you demand certainty before action, you will remain stagnant forever. Negative thinking is often an attempt to create false certainty. If I assume the worst, I won't be disappointed. But assuming the worst does not protect you. It programs you. Machiavelli advised rulers to understand unpredictability rather than fear it. He knew fortune is unstable. So must you. Instead of asking, what if this goes wrong? Ask, what if I can handle whatever happens? This question restores power. Because confidence is not certainty of outcome, it is certainty of capability. Truth 7. Emotion amplifies thought. A calm mind can observe negativity. An emotional mind becomes consumed by it. Notice this carefully. When you are tired, hungry, stressed, or hurt, negative thinking intensifies. Not because reality changed, but because your emotional state changed. Emotion fuels narrative. If you feel rejected, your mind searches for proof. If you feel insecure, your mind searches for comparison. If you feel anxious, your mind searches for danger. This is why mental discipline requires physical discipline. Sleep, movement, silence, solitude. A chaotic body creates a chaotic mind. A controlled body stabilizes thought. This is strategy. You cannot think powerfully if you live carelessly. Your mental authority is strengthened by physical order. When emotion rises, pause. Do not analyze life in a storm. Wait until calm returns. Most negative conclusions are made during emotional turbulence. And decisions made in turbulence often create regret. Master the emotional climate, and negative thinking weakens naturally. Truth 8. Repetition rewrites the mind. Here is a dark reality. If you repeat a lie long enough, your brain will treat it as truth. This is not a metaphor. It is neurological conditioning. If every day you tell yourself, I am not disciplined, I am not attractive, I am always behind, your brain strengthens those pathways. Neurons that fire together wire together. Repetition creates familiarity. Familiarity creates belief. Belief shapes behavior. This works negatively, but it also works strategically. If you consciously repeat, I handle pressure, I adapt quickly, I recover fast, your mind will initially resist. It will say, that is not true. But repetition plants seeds. Action waters them. Over time, identity shifts. Machiavelli understood perception shapes reality in politics. The same applies internally. The story you repeat becomes the character you play. Choose repetition wisely. Truth 9. You must become the ruler of your internal kingdom. This is the final truth, and it is the most powerful. Negative thinking will never fully disappear. Doubt will visit. Fear will appear. Uncertainty will arise. The question is not whether darkness exists. The question is who rules when it does. Most people are ruled by impulse. They react instantly to every thought. They believe every fear, defend every insecurity, and surrender to every doubt. That is not leadership. That is chaos. To overcome negative thinking, you must adopt a ruler's mindset. Observe before reacting. Question before believing. Pause before concluding. A ruler does not panic at every rumor. He gathers information. When your mind says, "This is the end," you respond, "Is it?" When it says they are judging you, you respond, "Evidence?" This interrogation weakens automatic negativity. Authority grows when reaction decreases. And here's the final shift. You are not trying to become positive. You are trying to become sovereign. Sovereignty means thoughts may arise, but they do not control you. Emotions may fluctuate, but they do not define you. Circumstances may change, but your internal authority remains stable. Machiavelli wrote about the balance between fortune and virtue. Fortune is what happens to you. Virtue is how prepared and disciplined you are to handle it. Negative thinking is often surrender to fortune. Mental authority is the cultivation of virtue, and once you cultivate it, something profound happens. You stop fearing your own mind. You stop being intimidated by doubt. You stop shrinking under invisible pressure. Instead, you stand internally steady, calm, strategic, deliberate. The world will still test you. Criticism will still appear. Failure will still occur. But now, your mind is no longer your enemy. It becomes your instrument, and that is the true victory. Not blind optimism, but disciplined psychological power. The 9 truths are not magic. They are practice, applied daily, observed consistently, and strengthened intentionally. Over time, negative thinking does not dominate you. It becomes background noise. And you become the ruler of your internal kingdom. The war does not disappear, but you win it quietly. And once you master this, no external chaos can easily overthrow you again.